Hey guys, Tim here, and I'm with the Gray Jedi, and we're kind of here. When me and Bob started this show, we run into different guys all the time that share the same interests and kind of share some of their survival strategy plans. And we're gonna record him talking about his crossbow and how he uses that in conjunction with his PA system and some of his other toys here, and he'll give us some helpful hints.
Well, this is a pretty nice crossbow in that it's very simple and pretty much foolproof. So anyone who knows anything about crossbows, there's two different types, recurve and then compound. I've had both. Compound is definitely far superior in where it has more power. It really drives the bolts deep. I like the recurve though for simplicity. I guess my train of thought is in a crap hits the fan situation, I want to have the simplest things so there's less things to go wrong or break. So that's why I went with the recurve. This is a PSA Sports recurve, so pretty much entry level. I believe it's a 150 pound draw, which is okay, you know, for small game. But there are people that hunt deer with 150 pound very successfully. So for me, it's a nice, quiet hunting tool. They're not really legal to hunt with in the state of Oregon, which is where I live, except for predatory animals, raccoons, possums, coyotes. You can hunt those with a crossbow, but no big game, no deer, elk, nothing. I mean, not that you would hunt an elk with a crossbow, but anyway, it's very simple. Obviously, you know, some people use a tool to cock a crossbow. I feel that's unnecessary with a recurve. You can get plenty of leverage with your two arms. And that's why we love Dingo Jack. The only danger, or not danger, but precaution you want to take when cocking a crossbow by hand is you don't want to get the string uneven, because then when it fires it may launch your bolt crooked, and then it won't be accurate, obviously. So just grab the bow, or excuse me, the string as evenly as you can. I usually do 3 fingers. You can do 4. A badass can do 2. I'm not badass. But you pull it back until it cocks.
It's like a deadlift, man.
And you're pretty much good to go. So I keep a couple different style of tips in my quiver. That is a small game tip. You'd mostly use that for bird or quail. I've hunted quail with this quite successfully.
You can hit quail with something like that?
Yeah, I have.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, short range.
Yeah.
Especially because I don't have a scope on it right now. And then just regular tips on there. That one's got some dirt on it, but she'll still fly.
All right.
So, very straightforward. Load a bolt. Make sure it's slid all the way back till you hear the click. That'll allow you to take the safety off. And when you're ready, kick off the safety and let her fly.
Wow, that just got there in no time.
Yeah, this is actually pretty stinking deadly for what it is. I would feel very confident taking anything small down. I don't know, if it's an end of the world situation and I felt comfortable about it, I think I could take a deer down with this no problem.
All right, so I got a question for you. On a regular bow, you have the multiple sights to adjust for drop.
Yes.
So on that, so I noticed you don't have that on that. So what's your drop like, and what's your maximum range like?
So, gosh, that's an interesting question. Well, first of all, yes, I don't have a scope on here right now, but the scope I like to use on a crossbow is like a red dot laser, and then it's got the dot that lights up in the middle, and then you adjust your range with a dial, and that'll change the position of the dot. very similar to a real scope, only instead of picking the lines yourself by manually moving the scope up or down, you just click a dial. And as far as my range, I mean, I generally try not to shoot anything past 30 yards, and if the animal is smaller, then I want that range to be even shorter. Because obviously, you know, a responsible hunter isn't going to take a random shot and hope it hits. And I mean, 30 yards, I feel very comfortable with something the size of a coyote or a possum. But if it's, you know, a smaller possum or a bird, then obviously that's going to be a much shorter range I'm going to want to shoot.
And so almost shotgun range.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. Now, the more skilled you are, the longer your range can be, obviously. Anyone who's skilled with any weapon can use it from a greater distance. However, with a recurve that's 150 pounds, you have to keep in mind that your bolt, you know, loses power the further out it goes, slows down.
Yeah.
So if you could somehow, you know, hit something dead on at 100 yards or something like this, that's great, but your arrows or your bolt is not going to penetrate, really. So, you know, it's pointless.
Yeah, it's beyond ethics.
So realistically, this is a short range. I'm hungry. I need to eat something, so I'm going to take out a quail in my backyard.
Now, the one thing that I like the most about what you were telling me is how you use this in conjunction with your PA speaker. Okay guys, I have some field footage I'm going to go back to at one point where we went out together, and he basically showed me how well this PA system works and how you can lure in the coyotes. But I want to hear from him, like how he uses the crossbow in conjunction with the PA system.
Well, so I am by no means a professional at calling animals in. I'm still learning, of course. I mean, how many coyotes do you think we had talking to us at one time? It was like 6, wasn't it?
6 or 7, visibly, yeah, you could tell they were all around us.
So I'm not sure what the footage you're going to show is going to show, but to set the scene for everyone, we were up on a ridge, calling down into a very small valley, very narrow canyon or valley, so sound traveled and echoed throughout that whole thing. And we had remember the coyote that was barking at us?
Yeah.
He couldn't have been, what, 50 yards away, down in the brush. We had one coyote that was getting pissed at us because I first started off with like the coyote male. Okay, so first of all, if you kind of zoom in here, on this particular call, it's pretty foolproof. It just lays out the different types of animals and their call: male, female, distress, howl. But the coyote male is really just a how would you describe it? Like an aggressive bark.
Yeah.
And so it really gets the other male coyotes worked up, and that's what was happening. And we had it going good. Unfortunately, I switched to a coyote pup in distress, thinking it would bring one of the males in to kind of take out the puppy, but I think we spooked them at that point because they all took off.
Yeah, we lost them.
And you saw one just hightailing it out of there.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing, man.
Unfortunately, my battery's dead right now. The video, though, that you have should show the call in action. But obviously, you know, with a rifle, you get one shot, in the sense that the second that gun goes off, every animal within 300 yards is going to get out of there. With a crossbow, it still makes noise, but it's not really a noise that a lot of animals associate with, like they do, like how they associate a gunshot. Every animal by this point knows what a gunshot means. Not a lot of animals know, you know, what the sound of a string going up against a bolt, you know, what that means. Sounds different than a bow and arrow. I mean, they're similar, but they're different. So kind of the idea is that you call an animal in, you can take it out, and then in theory, and if you're lucky, you can take another animal out too by calling it in. So that's kind of the idea between using a crossbow with my collar. And we've had success in the past. I've hunted coyote for predator control on some farms, and unfortunately you weren't there to see this, but I had a coyote come up to, I think it was 20 yards. He was 20 yards away before he even sensed I was there. And I was, of course, camoed out, hiding in the brush and all that. And I had the collar away from me. I wasn't calling him to me, I was calling him to the collar. But it's pretty amazing.
Oh, right on. But the thing I think I was the most impressed about is how you, when you were pushing your buttons, you had one call that sounded like a rabbit, and you used your other buttons to make it sound like the other coyotes were putting together an attack plan. And basically the idea I got out of that is the coyotes in the area thought that they had competition and they were getting aggressive. That was amazing.
Well, yeah, it's anyone's guess as to how an animal actually perceives these electronic calls. But the idea behind that situation you're talking about was I was imitating an animal in distress, and then I was trying to imitate the sound of a pack of coyotes, or excuse me. So it went animal in distress, and then a single male coyote howling, and then a group of coyotes like fighting and scavenging. So the idea was that if there were any real coyotes in the vicinity, they'd hear the action and want to come see what was up. The idea that we were ringing the doorbell for them.
Yeah, and you might not call yourself a pro, man, but I was there. That was pretty pro. That was pretty cool.
Until I scared them all off. But yes.
I don't know, man. Up until that point, though, I was pretty impressed.
So, as far as the call goes, this is, gosh, I bought this on Amazon. What was it? 7 years ago, I bet. No, more like 4 years ago. But anyway, entry level. I don't want to use the term knockoff because it's actually a really nice call, but it's made by Isotech. So this isn't a Primos call or any of the name brands that you'd find at like Cabela's or Sportsman's Warehouse. But it has, and it's not programmable. It comes with the sounds that it comes with. You pretty much only have volume control, and you can stop the call whenever you want. Mid-call, for example, for whatever reason. And you can do multiple calls at once. So that situation we were talking about where we were trying to call in a coyote to dinner, I did the distressed call, but I also did the pack of coyotes coming in to eat over the distressed call, so they were playing together. A little more realistic.
Yeah. Oh, that was amazing, man.
Oh yeah, but just to finish the thought though,
yeah.
So this is a cheaper entry-level call, again, Isotech, but it has good range between the remote and the collar. It's very loud, and it does have an option to hook up a speaker if you want it to be even louder. But every time I've used this, at the very least, I get a response, a verbal response, and at the most, I get a pelt out of it.
Right on. Right.
Yeah, so Dingo Jack here kind of wants me to talk a little bit about my prepper setup. I use the term loosely because I don't have an underground bunker stuffed with years worth of food and ammo. I don't know. It's anyone's guess as to what a kind of end of the world situation would look like. There's so many different scenarios out there, but what I personally find to be the most realistic is that there will be times where we can't rely on the government for food, for supplies, anything like that. There could be a time, whether in a disaster, a natural disaster or something else, where you can't get gas at the gas station, where you can't use your debit card, or maybe even cash won't get you anything because someone might not think there's any value behind it. So we try to kind of plan ahead within reason. For instance, I always try and keep 25 gallons of ethanol-free gas on the property. I'd certainly love to have like a 55-gallon drum full of it, but we just haven't really done that. We always keep the gas above, or the gas in the car above half a tank. You know, I try and tell my wife half a tank of gas is an empty tank of gas. So when you get to half a tank, fill it up. So we've got a significant amount of money in gold and silver. And you know, there are people that will make the argument, well, you know, if cash can't get you anything, gold and silver won't either. You know, maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I know you'll have better luck trying to get something with a 1 ounce bar of silver than you will with a $20 bill in a kind of financial collapse. So we have our property here. We're sitting on an acre of land, so not very much, but we're outside of town. And we try and live, my wife and I, we try and live pretty simple. We don't have debt. We're gonna buy a tiny home before too long and put on the property here. You know, so we're living in an RV right now to save even more money. And then we'll have our setup out here real good. We have our chickens. We just have chickens free roam out here, so we have eggs and meat when we want. It's a little overgrown right now, but we also have a decent sized pig pen out here because most winters we're raising pigs out here. Just enough to stock our freezer for the year. And then as far as weapons go, like I said, we don't, you know, I don't have a bunker full of AR-15s. I don't personally, my goal is to not fight a war if I don't have to, but I want to be able to hunt food if we need to. I want to be able to have some form of defense if it was necessary. We got this 16 gauge from Dingo Jack quite a while ago. 16 gauge is kind of an unusual gun, but it came with a crap ton of ammunition that I still have. Single shot break action.
Dude, show off that octagon barrel, man.
Yeah, well, just in the back here, yeah.
Yeah, break that sucker open. I love that thing. That's one thing I always loved about this shotgun. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. I like it too. Obviously, we've turned it into a home defense gun, and before I cut it down, it was huge. So it is still legal. Obviously, I have a semi-automatic sidearm. This is a 40 cal, so big, slow, heavy bullet, but I don't know too many people that want to stare down a 40 cal.
No, I love them, man. I got one.
So this is just a Smith & Wesson SD40 VE. This is the cheapest 40 cal you can buy, I think, while still buying name brand. It's not the best gun. If I could go back, I would definitely, there'd be other guns I would buy before I'd buy this one. I did improve it a little bit. I put a stiffer recoil spring in there, so the recoil is a lot better. There were a lot of composite parts on here I swapped out for metal parts.
Oh, Lone Wolf, huh?
Yeah,
look at that.
just a little Lone Wolf there.
All right.
So that's what I have for my sidearm. I also have a 44 cal revolver, 6-shot, Colt Navy, which is a nice gun. And then as far as the practical hunting weapon, I have my 223 here. Savage 223. Fantastic little gun. Really is. I would absolutely feel comfortable shooting anything up to the size of a big buck on this thing. You know, with the right bullets and the perfect shot, you could maybe take down an elk, but that'd be the most lucky shot in the world. I certainly wouldn't try it, but people on the internet claim that they have done it, so whatever. But, you know, it's a 223. It's a tiny, tiny bullet, just bigger than a 22, but nice and quiet, no recoil, perfect for medium, short to medium range. I mean, I would certainly shoot this up to 200, 250 yards and feel confident, but For your realistic urban hunting, I use the term urban where you're not going in the woods but just hunting out around your property. You could certainly do a lot worse.
Yeah. All right, now it's my turn for bragging rights, guys, because I put that package together for him.
That's right, I didn't build this. This is all Dingo Jack's gun. Well, no, I put these on.
Yeah, but dude, I've taken a lot of lives with that gun.
Most of you out there probably know Vortex and how good they are. This is the Crossfire 2. You know, so decent Vortex scope. But I'll tell you, man, it's one of the best scopes I've ever had.
Yeah, right on. I remember I sniped a, man, what are those things in the water, those South American rats? Those,
what's it called, Nutria?
Nutria, I sniped him right in the head. I don't even know how far that was, right out of a canal, and then I sniped a rabbit in the head, clear across a hazelnut orchard with that thing. It's a great gun. Then I killed a turkey with that one, that shotgun.
I think the biggest danger that we face in the Willamette Valley is probably the big earthquake we're supposed to get. I feel like any end of the world situation, disaster situation, well, I don't want to use the term end of the world, but big disaster is this pending earthquake that we're supposed to get. Who knows if it'll happen in my lifetime or not, but I like the idea of still being able to get around. You know, if the roads are out, trees are down, power lines are down, you know, who knows what the extent of the damage will be. So, I have a Harley motorcycle that I ride normally, but I also built this kind of end-of-the-world drifter bike, I guess you could call it. It's just a Honda 250, so not powerful, but it gets around pretty dang quick. It's basically, it is street legal, but barely. It's really meant, I take it up in the woods to go riding, with people who have their dirt bikes and quads. I mean, this thing is my toy, but it's also how I will get around if for whatever reason a car is not practical.
Yeah. That thing's pretty cool, man. I'm surprised you don't have a rifle bag on there.
It's only because I don't have one at the moment. I haven't attached the saddlebags yet, but I've got saddlebags for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a bug-out motorcycle is a great idea.
Well, it's certainly, if you don't have to go a long distance, if you just kind of need to get around, but you still have one place you're going to be coming back to, then yeah, a little motorcycle is a pretty nice thing to have. And if we had to evacuate or for whatever reason move somewhere, just throw it on the trailer with the other bikes and tow it with our car, and we still have that option available if we needed it.
Right on, man. Right on. You got a pretty good setup, man.
Yeah, we try.